Oh, what's up guys, Gemma here and back again for another episode of this. That's right, games you must play. It's been a while since I've done an episode and something dawned on me the other day when I did this video here, and somebody made a comment about me, wow, you're finally talking about the Nintendo Game Boy, and I figured it time to devote this episode to the classic Game Boy, the original Game Boy. Loads of my family had fun on this, on Tetris back in the day. Now, games you must play, it's not necessarily a hidden gem, but they're not really common games. They're games that probably deserve a little bit more, I don't know, love, attention. But there's a deviance in this episode because there's one game in here that is a AAA title that you'll probably all be familiar with, and it would be stupid to make this episode without talking about it. So we'll talk about the 3 games, and as ever, drop your kind of recommendations below or tweet at me and let me know some of the games that I could potentially pick up on some game hunt videos that I've got coming up. So stay tuned guys. Let's take a look at the 3 games. Guys, this is games you must play. This is the Nintendo Game Boy. So I've got my games right on this shelf here, first game I want to talk to you guys is a classic franchise. You may have watched the cartoons back in the day. It is Tiny Toons, a Tiny Toons franchise, and it is Big Bab's Break. Really nice platformer, and I really like this game. I'm going to give you some details. But instantly when I played it back in the day, it reminded me lots of the kind of Super Mario games with the music and this notion of kind of travelling through pipes to get to different areas of the level. So it does kind of lend heavily from that Super Mario, that's those staple titles of the Super Mario games. Now, you play between 3 characters, and I think it's Bugs Bunny wants to become this big star, and you have to defeat, I think it's Montana Max because he's kind of the obstacle for Bugs Bunny to become this big star. So it's a bit of a mission between 3 characters. You collect fruit, and each character throughout the level uses the fruit as kind of weapons. Gems are opposed to kind of coins in the Super Mario games, and what would be, I guess, Sonic collecting rings. You collect gems in this, you collect your gems. And it really is a little gem of the Game Boy. See what I did there, guys? That was a bit cheesy, that was unintentional, but it's a really solid platform game, going pretty cheap actually as well. I don't remember where I picked this one up from, but if you haven't played it, it is about time you did, so go and snag yourself a copy, and if you have a copy, let me know. I don't remember what the kind of going rate is for this game. I think I actually picked this up as part of a bundle rather than buy it, as it's kind of own game. But really, if you're into your platformers, if you want to beef out or try something new on your Game Boy, definitely pick this up. I'll link all the games in the description if you forget anyway, but this is my first Game Boy game you must play. Next up then, actually spoke about it in this video right here. My brother was a huge fan of Crash Dummies back in the day. I don't know if you guys remember when the toys came out. It was an absolute craze, not as crazy as when the Power Rangers toys came out and the cartoons, but Crash Dummies had a good 6 months where everybody wanted the car and the Crash Dummies themselves, and what shortly followed after that was the Game Boy release of Crash Test Dummies. Can't stress this enough, this is probably my favourite game. This is probably my favourite game on the list. Now, I remember like the first level, you go to the top of this building and you're a Crash Dummy, and the object of the game is to kind of crash and get more points, you know, so you really do have to make a bit of a mess of yourself. Not your conventional type of game, throwing yourself off a building, particularly in this first level. You have to throw yourself off a building, and you have to avoid various obstacles and windows on the way down this first level, namely fire, things like that. I think there's maybe some birds on there to kind of affect your route down, and you have to hit the target at the bottom. Now, you have to have really good reaction time to play this game. There are other levels where you don't have to make as much of a mess of yourself and throw yourself into walls or off buildings or into cars. Some of it is very much based on your kind of reaction. So if you're into that kind of stuff, definitely check it out. Really enjoy playing this. I can't stress it enough, and if my brother's watching this video, he will amplify my point in the comments. He got this for his birthday and we just had a ton of fun. We used to fight all the time, you know, like kind of pulling the Game Boy off one another to play this game. It's really solid. But if you haven't played it, again, I really like to hear from you. If you get anything from these videos, let me know. So if you're into your reaction games, if you're into something that's not as conventional as you might think or as you might want, definitely check this out. It's well worth it, guys. You won't regret it. This is my second Game Boy game you must play. Finally, I said I'd do a little AAA in this episode. I said I'd do a little AAA because when I think of the Game Boy, I think of a few staple titles. Tetris is one of them. That's not what this is. But Tetris is one of them. This game is another game that I think of instantly when I think of the Game Boy. It is 6 golden coins. Wow, absolutely blew my mind. For me, this kind of feels like a little bit of a spin-off. Because there are kind of different items that were introduced into this game that you weren't typically used to seeing. I mean, in like the Super Mario Brothers games, because it's not a Super Mario Brothers iteration, so to speak. It's just absolutely amazing, and I think as a kid, the pull for me was that whole notion on it being top down. I love top down stuff. So you've got the world, and you can navigate between different weird and crazy zones, like the tree zone. There's the turtle zone. There's absolutely loads and loads of cool stuff in the world, and this game is just so solid. It's such an awesome platformer. Really enjoyed kind of like, even like getting like the fireballs going. It just didn't feel quite like a Mario game for me as a kid, but I just bloody loved it. Really loved it. And I think if you ask anybody that likes the Nintendo Game Boy, this will be in their library. This is a solid title, and again, it's one of those that you think about. Tetris, 6 golden coins, when you think about the original Game Boy. So really like the top-down element. Really like the kind of far-out worlds that you went to. Quite difficult, but very rewarding when you do collect your coins. And the coins spin down and they go into like the display. There's 6 empty holes to begin with, and then they just gradually fill up. I mean, that for me just felt so satisfying as a kid to kind of play that, collect the coins. I really wanted to beat this game as a kid. Never beat it as a kid, beat it as an adult. So really awesome. Another one that me and my brother enjoyed. You must play it, guys. Go and get yourself a copy and smash your comments below. So there we go. Nice to give some love to the Nintendo console again, actually, and especially the Game Boy. It was longer overdue, so thank you for watching this episode. The playlist to this will be in the description. I've covered a couple of videos on Super Nintendo, PS1, PS2. I think there's an original Xbox on there, PS3, PS4. There's quite a few on there, and there will be more episodes to follow. So make sure you guys hit subscribe if you want more videos like this. There'll be some more out and about stuff coming. I'm going to be getting a GoPro soon, so that's going to be interesting to kind of have a GoPro on like a game hunt. Really looking forward to just changing things up a little bit, as I mentioned in probably this video here. So thank you for watching, guys. My name's Gemma. I hope you're having a beautiful day. The weather's picking up. Have a great one. I will be back. It's Thursday today. I'll be back on Saturday. For now, take care.